Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome back to it's the long awaited return of the most important podcast of the 21st century, the DeSarno Report. Uh, you know, people all over the world are pretty excited right now that I have, been benevolent, I guess is a good word to say. I'm really offering something to the people by deciding, you know what? It's time to return. It's time to give the people what they want. And what they want is whatever the hell I'm thinking. Okay? Deal with it. Okay? All right. So, it's been about a little more than a year since I've graced the stage, so to speak. Let me just check the date of the last episode. I think that'd be a fun thing to do. March 14th, 2025. So it's currently April 29th. This is going to go out tomorrow morning, the 30th. So about a year and a month and a half? A year and a month and a half. And we're back. Just to do a recap on the 3 episodes that were previously recorded in March of 2025. Different time in my life than the one I'm currently in. I got this shirt like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So this is a big difference. I used to use pomade in my hair. Now I use a styling cream. What else is different? I put the Nets poster. It used to be to my right. Now it's behind me for the camera. Pretty cool. Yeah, so go just a little run back. Episode 1 was called Empowering Women, Men and Stephen A. Smith. A classic. What a start. One of the great pilots. And episode 2 was Chuck Schumer and Kidney Punches. Which I'm gonna say something. Pretty good names. Like as far as naming podcast episodes go, I think that's pretty good. I think the first one's better than the second one. Empowering Women, Men, and Stephen A. Smith is better. But I'm already going to stroke my ego enough today. Do I need to continue to do it and talk about how great of a decision I made a year ago? No, I'm not going to do it. Still things I have to figure out. I'm still working on the website, MikeDesarno.com. Yes, MikeDesarno.com. Please venture over there. It's a great time. And then, yeah, gonna work that out. Got to figure out some of the editing. I had a very dumb harmonica riff I was using. It sounded kind of stupid and low rent. I'm gonna continue to change that. I didn't think that was very good, so we're gonna find a new way to introduce the pod. All right. So I guess the way I structured this is with like a minute left to work, I just started going and finding articles to talk about real quick. I haven't read through all, but I have a general gist, and I know kind of what I want to talk about. Previous iteration, I would just open up my computer, and you would hear me typing, and I would be looking up things to talk about whilst recording. This time, I have looked them up before and read some of them, but have general knowledge about all of them. So, I guess not all of them now that I'm looking at it, but we're fine. Okay. So I guess, today the big news was, I think it was Louisiana had a big case in front of the court relating to the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Essentially what they did was they wanted to remove or change the way that we created districts. Previously, you had to account for minority races in creating maps. So what that led to was places like Louisiana, places like Florida, places like Mississippi and Alabama that have significant African American populations, but maybe they're still outnumbered by the whites. Um, so basically protected them. Basically courts granted the right to make sure that districts are drawn to represent these people, because previously they were being basically chopped up in a way. Gerrymandering is an art. It's an art and a science. It can be done to affect change in pretty much any way you want. It was done in a manner to disenfranchise them and basically make sure they were not equally represented or barely represented at all, congressionally and state houses. So what this does is, I believe, it changes basically the level it has to reach to call it discrimination. It needs to be strong intent that this is done based on racial lines now, as opposed to a much lower level that was necessary to make changes or to be challenged in court. Basically, allowing Republican politicians in southern states across the country, really, to draw lines and maps that disenfranchise minority voters, especially black voters, which, of course, significantly vote for Democrats in significant numbers. One of the majority opinion, which I think was written by Alito, New Jersey's own, which is very sad. That guy is not good. Yeah, I saw something that I think said like he would have he would have gone with the H man, like if it meant like disenfranchising people. So yeah, that was a little severe, but I think it basically said like, because of the gains in voter registration in those communities and voting in decent numbers that have been done over the past 50 years, that it's not necessary anymore to protect them in such a way. I don't have all the data in front of me. I can't tell you how true that is. I do know, of course, there's been significant efforts. I mean, going back to before the Civil Rights Act. I mean, people know about what happens in Mississippi during the Freedom Summer. Two, I think they were New Yorkers, were killed while trying to register black voters in Mississippi in the late 1950s, which was very sad. It might have been the 60s, actually. I apologize if I don't have the right date. But this is an attack on a pretty significant piece of legislation in the history of the country. I mean, a lot of people would say America really, truly became a democracy with the passing of the Voter Rights Act and the Civil Rights Acts in the mid '60s under President Johnson. So the idea that we're now kind of stepping back and away from that, obviously the backsliding of democracy is not something you want to see. As a Democrat, I want to make sure our seats are protected and we get as many people in the Congress as possible to kind of combat some of this stuff. Even if the members of the Congressional Black Caucus tend to be more moderate, more conservative, more corporate on end than I would like, in general, than I would like. You're not going to find a lot of like Jim Clyburn praise here, but still, these are important members that I probably agree with 99% of things on the grand scheme of things. So, no, yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, man. Like, democracy is what did Ben Franklin say? You have a democracy if you can keep it. This stuff's important, and seeing things like this happen, it doesn't warm the soul at all. It doesn't warm the soul. Like I saw a stat recently that said the pay gap between men and women doing the same job with the same experience it's within the margin of error. Like, they basically get paid the same, which is an awesome achievement, even though the pay gap still exists because of the type of work. Because men tend to do, manual labor jobs, trade union jobs that are more physical, and that's why men do them, and they make more money than a lot of the jobs that women have. So, even while we've seen significant strides, there's still places that we need to, continue to move and improve things. So yeah, that's just a little quick on that. Very funny, obviously, me talking about that. Now, even more funny, the Iran war chuckles around. I mean, just on like a personal thing, like, gas is freaking crazy right now. I got gas, I think Sunday, for $3.99 cash, which is high, but that's where it's been for about a month now. I yesterday got gas, or excuse me, this morning got gas, and it was almost 420. Blaze it. It was like 415 or something crazy, and it's going up. Um, so just from the position of the president, like how much longer is this going to last? You've already been since the war began. You've now dealt with an attack on your life. Iran's a country of 90 million people with a significant diaspora. Now that the American diaspora tends to not support the regime, tends to be for the Shah, but there are Shia Muslims and Iranians all over the world that really are angry right now. And they should be. Like, they have a reason to be. Um, yeah, I wouldn't like it if somebody came in and killed all of our leaders and the people we looked up to. That would be bad. And I think we need to step into their shoes and understand like where they're coming from with some of this. They didn't attack anybody. Like this kind of was thrown at them. Like we had the JCPOA, which was the Iran nuclear deal from 2015 under Obama, which put significant limits on the Iranian nuclear program. And Trump says no, and here we are. Like, and you throw in the Israeli stuff, what that has been like on a foreign policy stage since October 7th. Like, they haven't covered themselves in glory. Like, they haven't, obviously you deal with a terrible attack like they did. Like, it's horrible. And then I think one of the most prescient things I saw was, somebody say, like, learn from us after 9/11. Like, you look at what happened in the United States after 9/11. I think there's a rhetoric around that's like, oh, we were united, like everybody agreed. Like it was a beautiful thing. Everybody was on the same side. There was no right and left, no Democrat, Republican, old and young. And I don't know. I feel like some of that's a bit overblown. The idea that we weren't like we fought a civil war. Like the idea that division's new, it's not new. We fought a civil war. I don't know if you heard about that. I don't know if you heard about that. It was a pretty big thing. Uh, but yeah, the idea that you should learn from the mistakes that we made. I think 9/11 is the most important event in the world in the 21st century. COVID, some would say COVID, which totally understand. A million Americans dead because of it. Uh, our social, political, our work lives forever changed. Our education system forever changed. Totally understand that. But if you look at just like the idea of like prosperity of nations, there's an argument for Bush Gore too, I suppose. Um, that if it didn't get stolen from Gore, it could be different. But 9/11, just the way that the United States, the fact that we had Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld in positions of power at the time that happened, like it could have been worse. It really couldn't have been. Trillions of dollars spent on Middle Eastern wars that created more instability and more hate towards us and less willingness for others. Meanwhile, China spent the same amount of money on Belt and Road. Now, I have issues with Belt and Road. I think it's saddling developing countries, especially in Africa, it's Southeast Asia, with massive amounts of debt. That's going to come due, and it's coming due. And it's a major issue for these countries because they've got better infrastructure in a lot of places, but they don't have better incomes. So it puts them in an awkward spot. The United States missed out on helping any of these people or even doing better things within our nation, which are obviously necessary. We have schools that don't have air conditioning that they're closing for several days a week because they don't want their children, melting while they're trying to teach them things, or in the winter heating, like simple stuff like that we don't have in places in this country, and that's horrible. That's enough on the Iran war. Again, just a bucket full of laughs right there. The DiSarno report, what a pod. Okay. Now I want to move to talking about the King Charles, Chucky, Big Chuck, here in the United States. Did he go to God's country? Someone asked Morgan Wallen. I don't think he was. He was in D.C. and he was in New York. So I think that does not count as God's country. Even though DC below Mason Dixon, I don't think that counts for him. So yeah, King. I Here's the thing. Like, I'm not a King guy. I'm Irish American, Irish Catholic American. I'm obviously not a British King guy. Get up the raw, get him out of here. But I just don't think we should be nice to him, especially 250. Are we gonna be nice to him? Like, obviously, the Brits are very excited about how cool they are with us. They love talking special relationship, all this sort of stuff. But I mean, this is the weakest Britain's been since since when? Like, I don't even know. Like pre William the Conqueror. Like since William the Conqueror, this is about as weak as Britain's been on the international stage. Like, it's crazy. The Brexit obviously. Brexit, I mean, I guess in Europe is the most important 21st century thing, but I guess they still deal with the knock-on effects of 9/11 and Bush v Gore, which you could say also because they sent a lot of people to Afghanistan. Obviously look at Tony Blair's legacy. He would be probably the most popular politician today in the United Kingdom if it wasn't for Iraq. So there's that. His boy Pete Mandelson, PD. Um, by the way, the Epstein between Mandelson and Teal, he just loved Gay Pete's. Gay Pete's would be a great bar. It's a good bar name, Gay Pete's. They've got amazing Mai Tais at Gay Pete's. Let me tell you, they do great sushi too. They got the guy from Kyoto. Um, it's enough. I will start a gay bar called Gay Pete's, though. And it's just gonna be Teal photos, just him looking sweaty, like thinking about the end of civilization. Maybe kissing JD Vance. I'm sure there's a photo of that somewhere. It's like it's in the Mossad. It's in like the Rush. It's in the Kremlin. They've got like 40 of them, just blown up, ready to deploy whenever they need to. Yeah, I'm definitely worried. I'm breathing like Tony Soprano on this. This is not good. But no, I don't think we should be nice to the king. No, don't be nice to him, dude. We literally fought a war for this. We fought two. We fought two wars. Then now we're being nice to him. And Camilla too, dude. We don't need to be nice to Camilla. We can just let him be. We can let Chucky be. He can go. Didn't he like build a town? I'm thinking of Milton Keynes. I think that's not him. But he like built a town. Just let him go play in his little town. Use humans for playthings. Like he's friggin' Peter the Great or something. Um, yeah, King in USA. By the way, if I'm Mandani, now obviously, as I said, Irish Catholic, ethno-religious identity. You're already You're at the 9/11 memorial. Like the 9/11 memorial is blocks from the Irish Hunger Memorial. I know he mentioned the thing about like he obviously has an Indian background, so he decided to talk about uh, a specific jewel that was in I believe the British Museum that he would like return to India. Understandable. But like you had the little blunder on St. Patrick's Day where you didn't give like the full answer about up in the rye. You should have brought him to the. You should have said, "Oh, let's go for a little walk, 2 blocks away to the Irish Hunger Memorial, and make him stand there and look at it." I think that would be fun. I think for a lot of people in this country, they would really enjoy that. I would. Maybe I'm just a little specific about that. All right, and then I guess we can talk about the correspondence dinner. Mostly, I just really want to talk about how much I dislike O's the Mentalist. I really don't like that guy. I've been out on O's the Mentalist for years now, and I feel like I don't get people get fooled by him. He's doing these like high quality videos that he's obviously staging. Um, he's got this like guessing game, like he's doing things that are replicable. But I can't stand O's the Mentalist, man. He just keeps appearing places I don't want him to be. Like, get off Pardon My Take. Get off the yak. Get off any sort of sports show. Get off of, like, a talk show, a comedy. Get out of there, O's. I'm anti-O's the Mentalist. And by the way, you're doing wizard-like things and going with an OZ, and you need to be like, no, I'm not Oz. I'm O's. I'm not Oz. Like, Like, who do you think you are? Like, you're doing magic adjacent things and make people call you O's. Like, have a freaking backbone about it, dude. I guess he does have a backbone about it, but like, come on, you're Oz. Like, obviously you're Oz. You're doing magic adjacent things. Like, you deserve to be given the magic adjacent name. And the fact that you are rejecting the magic adjacent name for something that's a little weird, that like, if you read it, people don't even understand. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Who do you think you are, man? Who do you think you are? All right. And there was a shooting. There was a shooting as well. The guy, his name was Cole Allen, Caltech nerd. He bum rushed the place. He had a manifesto. I've been thinking about writing a manifesto. Do not want to commit crime, I should say. Here's the camera. I may write a manifesto. Will not commit crime. That to the camera again. I will not be committing the crime. But it would be fun to have a manifesto, you know? Could be a good time. Like, maybe I'll write some cool stuff in there. Who knows? You got to test out the waters. Um, I don't even know. How long has this podcast been going on for? Oh, doesn't say. Oh, 20 minutes. Whoa. See, I'm doing this all alone. I'm basically just pulling up a Google Doc with a bunch of links on it and reading the headlines and then kind of riffing on it. So we're just going on. We're just going, bro. We're just going. AI bioweapons. I did see an article that said that AI basically, like, they chatbots create like biological weapons, which is crazy. Like, that's not good because they should. We don't want that. No, yeah. I also read basically any wargaming scenario that was ran with AI chatbots, they automatically just go nuke, which is scary. Like, I'm not an AI doomer. I enjoy a vibe code. I love hopping in Claude and like building stuff. Um, I enjoy it. I like building little tools and fun little stuff like that. I think it's really interesting technology. I think just as like a guy who's not the most skilled or knowledgeable about things that make me money, it's a good thing to do, is like to understand how to prompt and how to massage these tools into giving me what I want or what makes me money. So um I think that's like a useful thing that I do try to do and understand. My whole thing has always been, there's new technology, I'd rather be ahead of it than behind. Because once you fall behind, it's really hard to get back up to speed and even harder to get ahead. So if I stay ahead, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. I'll get on Mythos and crack up some magic adjacent things that Ooze Perlman would gawk at. That's what I'll do. Get him back for his crimes of appearing, if being popular, his crime of being popular. So, I'm just such a contrarian. Um, but no, yeah, AI constantly just dropping nukes makes you think like, oh, obviously, like, feelings are not a thing for them, which is like, why would they be? It's computers. We knew that. Yeah, like, they don't care about human suffering. They care about outcome. If you say, hey, how do I win this war? They're like, oh, I just drop a nuke on the capital, all the population centers. I think that'll stop it pretty quick. Like, yeah, I guess so. Like, that does seem to make sense, but also, like, that's a horrible, horrible thing. It's so bad. Like, what? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just reading stuff and regurgitating it. What do I know? The World Cup. We can talk World Cup. USA. I love the 22 World Cup when we beat England in that tie. We whooped their ass. I was at was that Schlante? Or Stout? I forget. It was a bar near Penn Station with two of my buddies. We had a great time. We were gonna go see Tim Howard, but we got there late because there was an issue with the train. So we just went to the bar next door and watched the game. We got wings. It was tasty wings, and we won the tie. And that was fun. And we had a good time in the city, which is always a good time. Um, but I was super excited then, because I was like, shit, we host the next one. Like, we're gonna be better. All these guys are gonna be on a different level, and they just aren't. you know, and our goalkeepers are all like MLS guys. Excuse me, I think I said MLS guys. like Tyler Adams, Weston McKinney. A lot of these guys feel like they haven't really stepped their game up. Pulisic has played well in Serie A, but like look at where Italy is as a footballing nation. Milan is a team that plays on the international level. That they're gonna be, yeah, Champions League type team, but still, look at where Italian football is. I gotta stop saying football. I gotta be a real American. Say soccer. Soccer, soccer, soccer. Look at where Italian soccer is. It's just not a good place. Like their league, well, it's a top five league. It's a top league in Europe. You know, it's the Premier League is just so far ahead, and there's just not a lot of Americans playing in the Premier League. Um, we're working on it. I'm gonna handle that single handedly. I've had many conversations with my good friends at Gemini and ChatGPT about fixing American soccer. All I need is for like someone to give me like 2-3 bill, and I can have that shit pumping out stars. I'm telling you, Jeffy B, Jeff Bays. If Are you all about American exceptionalism? Do you want to see us defeat foreign powers? Give me the money. I'll have it done. I'll have us winning like you've never seen before. It'll be insane. It'll be insane. It'll be insane. All right, cool. World Cup. So the walk. A lot of discourse with the Euros about the walk. The thing about X the Everything app having the widespread translate feature, like you're getting the Japanese involved. We're seeing whatever's going on there. I don't know if they're corny, like just all of them, or I think it's just the way that they come across via the translator. But it's fun to see what they're doing, what they're thinking. The Germans, obviously, they're very direct. They're all like rule following. Who would have thought? But having these Euros come over and they're making fun of us and our stadium and everything and MetLife and I'm not paying $100 ticket train. I'm walking there. I'm like obviously you can't do that. Like you just can't. It's highway and swamp. Like I did see something that was like maybe someone will find, like I would love it if some random Danish guy found Jimmy Hoffa's body and was like, bam, like who is it? Who is this man? And it's Jimmy Hoffa. Um, no, yeah, maybe they'll find Jimmy Hoffa. We should do that. We should get like a bunch of like Portuguese guys and say Ronaldo's playing here in 2 days and just have them just set off from like Overpeck County Park and just say find your way to the stadium. Who knows? Maybe they'll find some. Give him an inflatable raft or something. Just see what happens. Strap a GoPro to him. I think that'd be fun. Now there is the worry of like, what happens if they get like a white manna burger? Will they explode from the grease? Like that could be an issue. Like if we give that to a German, a 45-year-old like German mother, I feel like she would like see like a Ruts Hut Ripper and immediately begin to cry. So there's a lot to contemplate there. All right. I'm just going to read a John Kiriakou article he did for the Jacobin, not plural, about the war on terror and its effect today, which I think is going to be fun to read when I do it after this. Probably should have done it before. Didn't do it. Yeah, shout out John Kiriakou. We love a good Greek guy. Shout out to the Greeks. Yeah, so as far as like, I kind of hit everything I wanted to hit on for this podcast. Now, what I'm thinking of doing is just maybe like a random question generator and just riffing off of that. Let's see. See, here we go. We're back to where we started. Mike is random questions to ask your friends. Because that's what we are. The Dishonored Report is really just friends. Oh, wow. This is a lot. I'm just going to... Oh, it's 22 pages. I'm just going to scroll to a random spot. Boom. What's something you're hypocritical about? Something you believe but have a hard time sticking to in practice? Everything? Dude, come on, bro. Look at my body. Most things. Yeah, everything. Dude, obvi, dude. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I'll just kind of riff on what I'm doing, where I'm going. Like I don't know who to do this for. Like I think I'm doing this for me, really. You know. is my idea. Should I do it? This is my manifesto. I would like to get back into doing stand up again. First things first, I need to consume a ton of stand up because, frankly, these past year I haven't really done much consuming of stand up. Um, and if I'm going to be anywhere near where I want to be at it, I need to take a lot of information in. So that's kind of like a focus for me over the next month. Just watching and listening to a ton of stand up, just taking it in, and then writing and continuing to iterate on what I'm doing there. Then getting back up on stage, going back to the dojo, and just getting that moving again. And part of the thing with that, like if you want to get anywhere in that business, at this point in 2026, like there's two routes. You need to be making TikToks, sketch comedy on TikTok, on Reels, on Shorts, and then podcasting. And I guess I'm still trying to figure out where's the next place to go to get ahead of. As I said, I'd rather be ahead than behind. So I guess the next move is what's next. Is it we've been doing Patreon. Cumtown was on Patreon 10 years ago. Maybe not 10, maybe like 8. But like what's the next move? Like how do you get ahead of it? Is it podcasting? I think it continues to grow. I'll have to look at the Edison research stuff. But it continues to be a significant source of growth in the way we consume media. And then that's on YouTube too. This is why I'm doing a video pod. So I'm going to put this on YouTube. And the only people that are going to watch it is me making sure that I don't sound too stupid tomorrow when I have like a panic attack about it. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's where the way to go. I think that aligns with my talent. Whatever talent I have, probably not much. I think I could talk a little bit. I think I'm pretty funny. I think I'm a little insightful. So put this out. Maybe someone finds it interesting. In the meantime, I'm getting better at podcasting. What is it? Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours. So as long as I continue to get better at this, to me that's a win. Because anytime I get an opportunity to do it, I've already done a bunch of it, and I can kind of take a leg up on my competition, my peers in that manner. But no, yeah. So that's my thought with the pod. Also, I'm just so cool. Kidding. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm just a kid trying to figure it out, man. I'm just a kid trying to figure it out. So, if you listened, thanks. If you listened the whole way, extra thanks. We're going to try to continue to get this out, Tuesday and Thursday in the mornings for your commute. So, yeah. Any feedback is more than appreciated. Thanks. I might clip this up. I gotta learn how to clip. But thank you. And this is the DiSorno Report. Signing off. Adios.